When I was a CEO, I was an inch wide and a mile deep, and now I'm an inch deep and a mile wide. It's a different, I can't say I loved being a CEO, but I love this too. And so every day for me is different. I interact with incredible people on incredible topics, and I'm able to cross-connect, given the fact that I think collaboration and connections is vital for economic development and innovation. The ability to be in one meeting and to say, hey, wait a minute, I think you need to talk to these people, or we should bring this group in, or let me tell you what another group does. So this is my phase where I'm in a teaching mode, and I mentor startups, and I'm on boards of companies and nonprofits and governmental things, and I bring my experience in government, industry, and nonprofit world. Yeah, in other words, look, when it comes right down to it, Newen's key challenge is it has to become sustainable, and it can only become sustainable if it gets fundraising. So this video, I'm hoping, is part of the campaign to convince people to write checks. I mean, this is what it comes down to. The need for Newen is really clear, and I think that's what I want to emphasize. It's probably a long story to say how I got involved in Newen, but I was on the governor's trade mission to Israel with David Goodtree, and we came back from that trade mission, and the governor said, do we have anything going on in water? And we said, yes, there is plenty of stuff going in water, but it's not connected. And so the governor directed Rick Sullivan, of the Secretary of Energy and Environment, to begin to look into that sector and pull together people. And we had the first swim a couple of years ago, and it's been growing. And Newen has come out of an effort that the state helped put together to focus on the water innovation sector in the state. In New England and in Massachusetts, economic development depends on the innovation sectors and innovation clusters. That's the indigenous resource we have here, which are universities, early stage companies, forward-thinking investors, and large strategics that really like to be near where innovation is occurring. And so that's the source of our economic development. And so you look across all of our sectors in the state. I mean, some are very large, like the biotech sector, life sciences, clean energy, high tech, advanced manufacturing. And I think what we've discovered in the last couple of years is that the water innovation sector is here. We have a large number of large strategic water technology companies that have global reach. And we have a large number of early stage companies that see water as a way to create new technology innovation that really will help the world situation in water. So I think Newen's role is to bring those parties together. Innovation is a team sport. You've got to get everybody together, the large companies, the small companies, the universities, the startups, the established companies, and they have to be sharing and collaborating. And that's how the flow of talent, the flow of ideas, and the flow of money creates economic growth. And I think Newen is perfectly situated to provide that vital convening function to bring together all those sectors and for us to increase the growth of the economic growth of the sector in the region, but also to help develop solutions that the world really needs. One is the issue of awareness and understanding the nature of the problem and what we're facing. Look, as long as we are using fresh, clean, drinkable water to flush our toilets, we don't get it. That's the infrastructure we have here, and it demonstrates that we really are not addressing the problem right. We have to change that strategy, that whole attitude and the whole understanding of it. At the same time, there's a powerful force in terms of taking technology, creating innovation, embedding it in businesses that can make money while also solving important problems that the world faces. Well, certainly in the Clean Energy Council, we've focused a lot on bringing the investors and educating investors. This is 6 years ago, so I think we've gone beyond that, and now it's a question of helping entrepreneurs and surrounding them with the resources that they need, early adopting customers, certainly investors, infrastructure, incubators, mentors. So creating a very tight infrastructure so that companies can quickly go through those early stages. I think that the water cluster is similar to that. We do need to educate the larger financial institutions that this is a huge opportunity. And when this technology gets to scale, this is going to be something that will be really right within their wheelhouse. At the same time, we still need to keep the innovation area really strong. And so how do we get to put together mentor networks for the water industry? How do we find the early adopters in the water industry? How do we make sure that the incubators are there for them with the right lab equipment to do this? Because it's a little bit different than either, let's say, a software company or an electromechanical company. So there's a lot of things that we can do that's parallel to what we've done in clean energy and do in the water sector. And of course, connecting them to the larger companies. We have so many great strategics in the state, and we need to engage them here. Look, it's very difficult connecting companies and universities and startups. That is just, they're all three different species, they speak different languages, but when you pull them together in just the right way, you get magic. And I think that's what our region is so good at. But it takes a concerted effort, and it takes an organization like Newen to really make that happen. Well, the university community is the indigenous resource of our region. We don't have oil or coal. We don't have any natural resources here. It's our brains and our institutions, like the great universities. I mean, just within 20 miles of this place, there's over 100 universities. Many of them research universities. And they are a fantastic source of talent. This is where the next generation of engineers and business people are going to come from. And that group really wants to make a difference. They want to go into areas that they feel are urgent and represent serious world problems. So we're seeing increasingly graduate students and undergraduates wanting to go into these fields. At the same time, the universities are great at creating research. And that research can spin out into startups, or it can engage directly with large companies and providing the innovative ideas that large companies need to look outside themselves to get. So the university is fantastic. Now, universities generally are focused internally, so it takes a little bit of an effort to get them to look outside. And small companies have limited resources, so it takes a lot of effort for them to engage other institutions. If it's difficult, they tend to work only on what they're working on. And of course, the large companies are focused on their markets overseas and sometimes don't notice what's right in their backyard. So those are all the challenges, and that's the challenges for Newen, to overcome those barriers among those groups. As well, to also make sure there's a support of government. There's nothing like having local customer and a local early adopter that's nearby. If your first customer is on the other side of the earth, it's very hard to support them and to do that. Whereas if it's a water supply problem, water supply situation, let's say on the Cape or a Quabbin Reservoir, if it's nearby, it really makes a huge difference. And I think fortunately we've always had a very supportive government in Massachusetts and the rest of New England who are looking to provide those spaces where this technology can be tested and tried out. I think Newen has tremendous potential. The key, though, to realizing that potential is support from the industry. And so it'd be great if some of the strategics, all of the strategics, could help support Newen. There's certainly plenty of other firms, the service organizations like the law firms, but also the mentor network where people are going to volunteer. So I think to create a vital Newen requires contributions from everybody, and I think that's what we need to look at, and people making investments in Newen, because that's, I think, the key to the economic growth that we're going to see in the water innovation sector.